Lou Donaldson Takes Off. This record I currently have on eBay. Hank Mobley 1550. The record is entirely taped. It's quite beat up on the back. This is the original pressing. Deep Groove P RVG 47 West 63rd Street. And I don't know if you can see it, but this record is destroyed basically. I mean, it looks like a bear got a hold of this thing. We put it up for 20 bucks. It's already up to $100. I've added 2 addendums. This record is trashed, beat up, static. People don't care. I don't understand what are they going to frame it? I really don't get it. The seller, the guy who I'm selling this for, he doesn't get it either. We're like, what? People are crazy. Anyway, let's talk about free jazz a little bit, which is not free. There are rules in free jazz, but the main rule is to express yourself in the moment. I think a good way personally for people to get into free jazz is to go back and listen to Dixieland music. Because Dixieland, all those crisscrossing melodic lines and harmonies and contrapuntal playing, the only thing that's really static are the drum grooves and maybe the tuba. Everything else is all over the place. And to me, free jazz, where everybody's speaking their own language, man, nobody's listening to anybody, which is a crock of bullshit, is very similar to Dixieland in that way, that there's a lot of freedom in there. And once you cross over into it, you know, it's really the next step. It's total freedom. There's some beautiful playing. Blue Note, Symphony for Improvisers, Don Cherry. He did 2 for Blue Note. This one and Where is Brooklyn? I think the other one is. And these, in their way, are part of that avant-garde on Blue Note that included, you know, Larry Young and Sam Rivers and George Braith and Grachan Mancour. But, you know, Don Cherry is a very unique individual. This is a great record worth having if you can find it. Albert Ayler, a French record of Albert Ayler. I don't know what this even sounds like, but I just kept it because I probably played it once and thought it was really beautiful. Flight for Four, John Carter and Bobby Bradford. This is a perfect example of a very well-ordered free jazz record. It's kind of like Old and New Dreams a little bit. Very singular players, singular sounds, well-organized, but a lot of freedom. These Flying Dutchman records are really great if you can find them. Cool artwork, right? Jazzman, they have this incredible spiritual jazz series. These are all really worth getting. They're up to like probably volume 10 by now, but they're all great. Really great liner notes, beautiful transfers. I don't know if they're digital or analog, I don't know, but they sound great and they're really unusual. Heavy liner notes on each track. They're great. These are amazing compilations and they go out of print. I think these are worth searching for. These are going to be very collectible in the future, I believe. Of course, the foundation, This Is Our Music, Change of the Century, Something Else, the early Ornette Coleman records on Atlantic. I listen to this now. This just sounds like Texas folk music to me. He was from Texas. There's nothing free about this. It's very listenable. It's, you know, it's kind of angular and odd, but yeah, here we have again Don Cherry, Ed Blackwell, who did El Corazon, Charlie Hayden, Ornette Coleman. This is an essential recording that any jazz guy should have, woman should have in their collection. There's a nice original Atlantic label. William Parker Quartet, William Parker, David S. Ware. There's a lot of free jazz in New York City. This is an older record. Hamid Drake on drums. What year is this? I don't know. 2007. But an outstanding bass player. Outstanding mind. When I think of William Parker, I think of Greg Tate. And Greg Tate has a new record, Burnt Sugar, coming out on ESP, which I got to do something on. But I paid $76 for this thing. You know, the quintessence of modern free jazz, right there. Impulse 3 for Shep, Marion Brown, Archie Shep. You know, just great avant-garde of the 60s on Coltrane's label. ABC Impulse. You don't have spiritual jazz without Alice Coltrane on Impulse. These are great recordings. Some of them have been reissued. This is an original pressing of some sort. There's another one. Bata, the El Daoud. These are just amazing recordings that are way ahead of their time. Sound totally contemporary. Might be Charlie Persip on drums, maybe Ben Riley swinging their butts off. She was such an amazing figure. There's some video of her on YouTube playing piano. She's so odd looking. She has really odd fingerings. Beautiful woman. Really, you know, inspired Coltrane to go to the heights. Of course, can't forget about the UK strain of free jazz, Elton Dean. 9 cents. Elton Dean's 9 cents Happy Day. These are on Ogun. Really happy to have these. Again, these are kind of acquired listening. I think the UK free jazz, like Locke's Colhill, Lowell Coxhill, I mean, what the heck is that stuff? What? That's much more acquired listening than the American free jazz. American free jazz still has the root of blues music. In the UK, the root is not blues music. It's European. It's whatever they want to bring to it. You know, it's a totally different vibe. Oh, Carl Berger on ESP. I was mentioning Carl Berger earlier. This is just really tremendous recording. Carl Berger, Carlos Wart, Henry Grimes at Blackwell on ESP. I only paid $30 for this whenever this was. I think I got this at Princeton Record Exchange. More spiritual jazz titles. Worth searching for. Worth acquiring if you're into this spiritual jazz thing. Of course, the cool records on Actuel, the French label, which I understand the owner ripped everybody off. But this is, you know, these are great Archie Shepp recordings. Another one. These are something else, man. These have been reissued, and the reissues are pretty cheap. We haven't had them in the store in quite a while. I bet whoever's reissuing them probably went out of business. But these are essential. I hate that word free jazz. Somebody's got a kind of better word. Spiritual jazz just sucks too. I don't know. Free playing is more like it. Creative music, I think, of what some people call it. Newhall Richard Abrams on Black Saint. This is hard for me to listen to. I don't quite get it. I just don't quite get it. Paul Bley on ESP. Paul Bley, you know, Paul Motian left Bill Evans to go play with Keith Jarrett or go play with Paul Bley. I can't remember which, but he was ready for something different. And Paul Bley is such an amazing influence on so many musicians who never quite got his due, even though he made a lot of records. Really beautiful, just a brilliant thinker, great ideas. Art Ensemble of Chicago. Again, this takes a little work to get into, but once you get into it, it's just wide open. I think Art Ensemble is very relaxing music, very organic music, very much from the ground up music, really connected to Africa and the spheres and Brazil, and it's just enormous stuff. Ornette Coleman, New York is now one of his. Is this his only record on Blue Note with Elvin Jones? Ornette Coleman and Elvin Jones and Dewey Redman. What a lineup! Psychotic Carburetor Dung Explosions, and of course Paul Motian on ECM. He made a bunch of great ECM records. Paul Motian is such a powerful figure. I think a big reason the Paul Motian, the trio of Scala Ferro and Paul Motian and Bill Evans is so revered. A lot of that's Paul Motian, because Paul Motian knew exactly what not to play with Bill Evans. I think after Paul Motian, all the drummers just played too much. Eddie Gomez definitely played too much. I don't know what he was thinking about. Overplayed. Those records are really hard to listen to with Eddie Gomez, in my opinion. But Paul Motian was just so architectural, and the way he illustrated those songs, very subtle. Really, he wasn't just playing subtle, he was playing very simply, he was playing very subtly. A lot going on up here. And then you zoom up to the near present, his work with Bill Frisell and Joe Lovano on ECM, or Soul Note, I believe. Those are just... When I was first getting into jazz, I listened to Paul Motian, all the Monk covers, Monk in Motion. Oh my God, that record is just a mind blower. Just a mind blower. I mean, it's free jazz, but it's just, whoa, it's like they're all in jetliners sailing in parallel through the sky. It's amazing stuff. And I think all the Paul Motian records have that. On ECM, the Paul Motian records, yeah, they're just beautiful, spacious. He let the drums really sing. And then as he got older, he became kind of the anti-drummer, The way he would play was like a little child. But he knew what he was doing, and he always swung extremely hard. There's one of my old and New Dreams records on ECM. They were also on Black Saint, I believe. And these have been reissued, by weird European companies fairly recently. This is another great gateway into free jazz. Anyway, this is the end of my tour through my record collection. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for joining me. Bye.